Hey everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. SalvationsElite to my right is Bash_Bo3 Sam, and to our farthest right per usual is none other than Rex, ShadyNero, and guys, we have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we're coming off our first bye week of the whole year, basically, and a holiday weekend for all of you fellow Americans out there. So happy belated 4th of July. But we have a lot to get into today, obviously. We're doing predictions for the first weekend of Stage 5, the final stage of the CDL before Call of Duty Champs. And we got a lot of news to get into, of course, the potential of a Scump retirement again, part 3 here, and obviously a lot more. But before I get into that, boys, I got to ask, what's going on?
Well, Josh, I am feeling like a dust mite that lives on a fan blade, and it's spinning around, and I'm getting pretty dizzy until eventually I come flying off and I go straight into the refrigerator across the room, and there's a plethora of food for me to eat, and I just start vibing out.
Wow, man, dude, that's great, man.
I love it.
Sam, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Loving those hard cuts.
Oh, 100%. Really good.
Out.
Just vibing out. Good weekend?
It was a good weekend.
Yeah.
Good weekend with the fam. Had some good food and lots of fireworks here in old Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of them out here. I know.
What's New York like on the old 4th?
The old 4th.
You got to go to like special locations. Like we went to Coney Island Beach.
Oh,
and they had
nice.
a fireworks show there.
Okay.
Nice. That's good stuff. Nice.
But
good times.
Good times.
Things love to see. Hopefully everybody else had a great one too. Yeah. But man, we got a lot of COD to talk about today. Obviously, you can listen on Spotify. You can listen on Apple Podcasts. You can watch on YouTube. You can drop a comment down below on YouTube, or you can leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, as some of you lovely people have. And Sam, what do you got for us today?
We've got the old Hogan Sky is the author of this one.
Oh, no.
Title Octane.
Oh, yeah.
5 stars, of course. Every podcast is a joy to listen to. They really help me get through my Tuesday workdays. The pod really helps me catch up on the CDL, AM drama that I missed during the weekend and don't care to scroll through Twitter, Reddit for. Well, one quick question for you guys. After LAN, do you want to see all 12 teams present for champs? And if so, what's the bracket look like?
Oh.
My personal idea would be a mini losers brackets, 9v12, 10v11.
Yep. Those
2 teams would then move on and face the 2 losers of 5v8, 6v7 matchups. 1 through 4 all get first round.
Oh, this is a wordy review.
One last note. Thanks for the Fantasy Football League, Josh.
Yeah, I knew he'd mention it. I
did thoroughly enjoy beating you multiple times throughout the year.
Yep. That's Hogan. So we did a little listener league, Fantasy Football League last year, which we'll do again this year. So be on lookout in the Discord. And then Hogan took me to the Woodhouse. Yeah. Had his way with me.
That's okay. You know, you learn from those experiences, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
You became
to
a
never
better
trust
man.
Hogan again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not allowed in the league.
I was kind of hoping for more personal.
Right. No. Definitely not. But obviously we did talk about the whole COD Champs format last week on the pod. So I'd imagine that was probably when that whole thing was going on from last week. But
not a bad idea though.
Yeah, the play and stuff is kind of a fun time. I'd be down for that for sure. But yeah, man. Obviously, we got a lot to get into. One day we'll have a quick question again. It'll happen. But don't worry. Today we're going to get right into the news of the week. Without further ado, let's check it out.
The Call of Duty News of the Week.
Oh, baby. We're back at it again with the news of the week. ShadyNero, what do you got for us?
All right. So what do we got going on for the news of the week? Some possible league news. Rokkr, possible role change.
Yeah.
There's TJ and Priestahh were streaming. Some people were in those streams watching. And they were playing 8s. Priestahh started running with the 74U rather than running an AR. And then there's kind of a debate on whether he's going to be playing AR or he's going to be using a sub in their next league match.
Right, and they were saying that they were experimenting with trying out different roles. We did talk about at one point, I don't know when, it was a while back, but I think you were like, they should try Priestahh at SMG.
They should, yeah.
So, I mean, this is yet to be confirmed whether or not this is actually going to end up happening for Thursday. So without any other news, it's hard to say what's going to happen exactly.
Well, they were saying Priestahh and Attach would be the ones switching roles too, which that seems weird to me.
I think it makes sense though, because Standy's been playing overall well with the SMG in hand.
I think if you're going to switch, it's going to be Attach and Priestahh.
It would make sense that way, even though Attach hasn't played much AR in his career. But yeah, I mean, thoughts on that, Sam? Obviously, you were kind of one talking about that originally.
I think I was talking about that. I know originally when Priestahh did move to the Krieg, I was excited for that just because, that was like a really good weapon for him to use and all that. But I would be curious to see just how Attach plays into that because, we saw Kenny's transition from sitting for you to Krieg and it worked really well. I think Attach is a person that could use the Krieg really well. I mean, of course, he's a great player.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see Priestahh and Sandy, like the sub duo. I think they could be a pretty good duo. I think Priestahh could keep up with Sandy. So I don't know. I'd be very curious to see this happen.
I think it's a good sign because it was worth trying out.
Yes.
So if they gave it a go and they're like, not it, then okay, fair play. But I think overall it makes a lot of sense. Are you leaning towards that they will do it or won't do it?
I think they'll try one match at least.
At least one, really? Oh, well, interesting.
I mean, we really have not seen Attach ever use an AR, so it will be interesting to see him do that. I feel like Rokkr does need to make some sort of change, so this might be the change that fixes things for them. So I'm not against it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, overall, like again, they're another team where, I mean, you're gonna make champs, but
they're
right
not winning
now,
it.
it doesn't feel like you have any real chance to win it. And so you do need to experiment with those changes, and it makes sense to do it heading into stage 5.
Well,
so
their big thing that happened is like Standy came in, they got a big, like they were rejuvenated. Then it started kind of slowly decaying, I feel like. And now they've hit like
then they brought Major
floor.
Maniac in. Yeah,
they hit this floor. It's a higher floor than where they were before, but it's still their floor. And they have to figure something else out, another Standy rejuvenation thing to really start climbing again.
Yeah, and that's why you got to try something. So it makes a lot of sense that they're at least giving it a go. But man, that's going to be close. It's going to be really interesting. So, we'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll talk more about the Rokkr, obviously, when we're doing our predictions here a little bit later in the show. So, Rex, what else you got for us?
So we never really talked about the Huke and the Adderall situation on the podcast. Crim saying about his video coming out. Is that ever coming out? Who knows?
Yeah, I have a theory. I think he won't.
He won't.
I don't know. There's part of me that thinks.
Ooh, interesting. Why?
I think because so
kicking him while he's down type situation.
So this obviously all happened when like the whole thing was the Huke video came out and like Huke was seen as this kind of like victim,
right?
And then now all this stuff happened where like Huke is like the community.
Now the public's kind of on Crim's side.
The public is pretty down on Huke and pretty much on Crim's side. I think if he posts this video, I know he's been kind of like this, like kind of trolly, like villain character.
Yeah.
But I think he'll see it like, okay, maybe I should just hold off at least for now, or maybe just like
let it
kind
boil
of
over a
little bit. So
you think that's
what I think.
Because now that he has the people on his side, he's not going to feel like he needs to go attack.
No.
Yeah, that
really
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But how does it go back on that?
I don't know.
I think he'll just keep saying it'll come out eventually, and then it will eventually come out probably, but like maybe in the off season or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Because it's hard to believe that he actually has anything really against Huke on a personal level.
I don't think
more
so.
Just like he just wasn't.
Yeah.
Probably more like just a business like, what were you doing, dude? Type situation.
I think it was more like he felt like his team was getting slandered from the video, which it was a little bit.
Especially Crim too, like personally Crim.
Right.
So I think he wanted to make sure like he wasn't getting attacked for no reason. Like that,
Yeah.
But like, now that he kind of it's a whole new situation now. So
it really is. That's actually really interesting, man.
Well, now Huke's not playing, so
no.
That's the other thing. I agree with you. I actually don't think it's going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be surprising if it does. I mean, overall, the league hasn't addressed ever the whole Huke mentioning Addy situation.
No.
I mean, do you think they're ever, at this point, are they ever going to mention
it?
Well,
here's the thing. If they address it, they have to do something about it, which I don't think they're going to right now.
Yeah.
At least this season, they're not going to.
You'd hope next season. Maybe
going in the off season, maybe or something like that. Yeah, that's possible. That's really possible.
It is kind of unfortunate though, like it was kind of just swept under the rug though, because it was a very hot topic and nothing came from it. Quite a few pros came out and said like, I struggle with it too, and overcame it, blah blah blah, and all those things too. So all we got with it was like Joanna Ferris we heard her or
the whole
Adam App calling Ben and saying don't talk about it. So
yeah, that's crazy. So we'll see. I think it's probably just going to kind of chill out from here. We're not going to really, they're going to be like, oof, dodge the bullet there.
Exactly.
And they're just kind of going to move on probably, but hard to say. Who knows? But I'm excited to see what else happens with that moving forward, though.
It's just something, it's like, I don't even know. I feel like it's something that's really hard to regulate.
Very.
Because my guess is that they're getting prescribed. And how do you go against a doctor's prescription or like, you have to make a strong rule of like no Adderall use at all, no matter.
Then you've got to start gauging levels and like what's the legal level and all these things. So yeah, it gets messy real quick.
Like do you just pee test before every event or what?
Random test probably.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's
crazy. Yeah.
So
nothing like talking
here's
about
kind of a big one that
news.
happened in the league. LAG versus LAG Academy. They had scrims. Now most of the time you assume a pro team's going to win them. LAG lost their scrim map counts 8-0. They did not beat their academy team once in this set of scrims. And they lost a hard point 250-11 in their scrims.
Yeah, then that was a screenshot we saw on Twitter.
It's scrims. It doesn't matter. But you won 0 maps against the academy team.
That as a team that you just kind of benched.
And Chino was just on their roster. Now went to the bench roster, scrims them, and then Chino was beating him up. To tag along with that, Skrapz replied to one of the tweets about LAG losing, and I'll get exactly what he said here. Might be bottom 4, but I can sit here and confidently tell you we would smoke every team outside of the pro league. And this was in response to a tweet about LAG losing 8 maps against LAG Academy.
The tweet was saying, this was from Infinity, the European caster, that there are quite a few amateur teams out there that could win and be competitive with some of the bottom teams in the CDL. And then Skrapz was like, no chance, mate. We're absolutely going to smoke the bottom AM teams for 100%, or the top AM teams, 100% guaranteed. So, I mean, where are you at with that one, boys? Do you agree with Skrapz? That's a tough take to make.
Here's the thing. That's always been like the hardest topic, because pros are very like, how can they say, oh yeah, we're not better?
Right. Naturally.
They're always going to say they're better. But then you see something like LAG Academy just destroying the starting roster of LAG. And we've seen other like amateur teams compete really well against teams like OpTic, Rocker.
Go back to Black Ops 4 champs and Clinix's team. I keep forgetting what his team name was. Singularity. There's right there. They're beating pro league teams.
Yeah, like a lot of those teams. Yeah, they were they were playing really, really well.
I don't understand where this like such confidence comes from, where it is so like I understand you can make the LAN thing, you can make all these excuses, but right now with where the league's at between challengers and pro league, there is not that big of a gap between the bottom 4 teams and the top challengers teams.
Yeah, I mean, the evidence would be for each side. So the evidence for the amateurs argument would be that, like, you see a lot of pros go down there and then they're not dominating right away. I mean, basically none of them are. I mean, Saints is a former CoD pro who's been playing really well this year, and you've had a handful of former CoD pros playing well this year, but it's not like they're unstoppable gods down in the AM scene, right? At least so far. But again, there's a lot of arguments against for why it's like just playing well in the AM scene is a sign of like, you are good even if you're just playing consistently well, not dominating because of all of the unfair advantages that certain teams have. But the other argument is that, early on, maybe an amateur team could pull an upset against CoD pros in 1 series or like in 2 series. But like the odds of amateur teams competing on a regular basis with
over time,
the bottom 4, bottom 5 teams in the CDL is low. Just because you only have so many aces up your sleeves that you can pull off against pros. So I could see that argument too, where it's like over time, the pros are going to figure you out because they're pros and then they're going to expose you. That's fair. So I mean, what side of the argument do you lean on there?
I still think in my mind, I think those
AM teams,
those top AM teams, you look at the old West Star, East Star, NYSL Academy, LAG Academy,
Atlanta FaZe Academy last year.
Atlanta FaZe Academy, all the EU squads, the Team War, Singularity. Like,
Renegades.
I have a hard time believing that these bottom 4 CDL teams right now would quote unquote smoke the top 8 teams. I just don't. I don't believe it personally. I think that.
Yeah, I mean, Skrapz was like insanely confident, like very. That's where it gets a little bit like I don't know about that much confidence.
No.
Like I respect it,
I do,
but I'm not sure if it's that unreasonable to say that amateur teams would be really competitive. Rex, I mean, what side of the argument? Where do you find yourself leaning?
I think these AM teams could definitely beat some of these bottom 4 teams. I think just the fact that LAG lost 8-0 to LAG Academy tells me like there's LAG has beaten other teams. LAG versus Paris. You don't really know who's winning that one. So like in my mind, almost part of me wants to say I'd pick LAG in that. So I think that's overconfident. I think the top AM teams could easily beat some of the lower 4 teams.
Yeah, let's
we haven't
say
seen them play really.
Okay, let's say the bottom 4 COD Pro teams, the pro teams, CDL teams, got put into challengers right now. Would you expect those 4 teams to be the top 4 teams in challengers though?
Around the top 4, maybe not the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably expect them to be the top 4 though.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe. We've seen pros go down there, try and form a team, and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just saying, like, if you like, because Skrapz is arguing like their current Paris team, if they played any of the other teams, would absolutely body them in a full term series. So I mean, that's kind of like the argument is like if you sent Paris down the M scene right now, would they win the first Challengers Cup? Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, if there's a team they've been together for a while, maybe they would.
Again, and like that's my argument for Skrapz is that maybe a team could pull an upset against them because of S&Ds.
I don't know if it'd
some
be
crazy
an upset,
strats.
though. I bet it would be a close game.
Maybe
like it'd just be
maybe
just a close game in general.
Maybe.
You could be right.
All this could be right.
I do lean with Skrapz in the sense that if you put the amateur players in the CDL, like if you put these amateur teams in the CDL, they're going to get smoked on a regular basis, but they could win a series here or there, but they're not going to consistently win. None of them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So
maybe.
You never know. Here or there. So anyways, I think it is a really cool argument though. And it was really, really interesting to see kind of Skrapz because he was really defending it. He was going back and forth with them, really doubling down on it. So I like to see the confidence though. But yeah, what else you got for us?
So another Los Angeles team, the all famous LA Thieves. Abezy was caught on stream saying LA Thieves has not been too hot. They've kind of been getting bodied against scrims against FaZe, which it's FaZe, so you kind of expect it. But Abezy seemed to have the impression like they're pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean he
like
left
they're
his
not
mic
worried
on.
about Thieves.
No, he didn't. Apparently, didn't realize his mic was on. He emphasized like we had no problem against them.
Against those guys.
Those guys. Like oh
shoot.
That was a few days ago though. So hey, a lot can change in a few days, and I did see some people defending. Obviously, we talked about how they were struggling in their first few scrims together last week against AM teams. But I did see that like Fire tweeted like, "Yo, sorry about the bad host," and Kenny was like, "Yo, that host was so bad for those scrims that they were having troubles with." So there could be some legit excuses there, but
and like for me,
not a great sign.
Like for me to be honest, I'm definitely looking more forward for this team for the major.
Another month from now.
Yes.
Yep.
I think they're gonna have some growing pains, of course, with every single thing. So I'm not incredibly worried about it. I didn't expect them to be getting like bodied, for sure.
But you can't be having confidence in them right now, though.
No, you can't. So
does LA Thieves make another roster change?
Oh my gosh.
Probably.
I
mean, at this point,
not.
I wouldn't put it past them.
No.
I mean, from what we've seen, it's been, you can't say anything at this point.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
But they probably shouldn't. No. But yeah, I don't know. That's what's going to get real tough real quick. But yeah, I don't know. This next thing is the craziest. This is the most interesting news, at least in my mind. Part one here is that, interestingly enough, Scump did say that they're not going to be streaming any scrims the rest of the year, which I thought was a little surprising, considering they did say that they were planning on coming back to streaming scrims again. and then the major didn't go their way, and so they're suddenly like, all right, well, time to not stream scrims anymore.
But there's one more piece of news that I think we've talked about, and maybe we talked about it, but Scump said he has no guarantee he will be playing in the next Call of Duty title. His contract is up till the end of this season. Once the season's over, he gets to decide what he wants to do. He said he wants to see, a trailer for the game. He wants to see first, gameplay, at least.
Yeah.
So which we kind of said. I mean, I've been kind of saying Scump might retire by the end of this season.
Yeah. We talked about it quite a bit at this point, but like this was kind of like the new big news of the week was just the fact that he said specifically, I'm not going to sign my contract till we see gameplay. Mm-hmm. So my first thought is, when are we going to see gameplay? Because I mean, at this point, we haven't even got the title yet.
No.
And officially. Mm-hmm. And basically next to no information. I mean, last time we didn't see multiplayer gameplay till like what, September? It was late really August. Maybe probably September because Champs was late last year. It was after Champs, I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know. I mean, where are you at with this? Where do you lean with Scump?
Because World War II was like obviously the OpTic destroyer. Like, yeah, World War II, they despised. They all talk about how much they hated that year. And this is going to be, quote unquote, a remake of that in a way. Mm-hmm. I can see why he's hesitant to do so, to go again.
Again, is it coincidence that this comes right after they play in the Warzone tournament that he says this? I don't think it's coincidence.
That's what makes me worried. I know I would have always said like, oh, just give Scump. He's going to give it one more year. He's going to give it one more year. But I don't know if he's going to give it one more year.
This is what I'm saying. Like, because that's what we talked about before that last Warzone tournament was like, I got a little bit worried. All right, Scump's going to play in a competitive Warzone tournament. He's like, oh, this is fun.
I mean, think about it. He can not be so like, if you're in his shoes, you have a choice to not be as anxious for Call of Duty competitive.
Yep.
You can stream whatever you want
with anybody,
make money. You can now compete in Warzone. So if you still want to compete in Warzone events, make money. Your brand is just going to grow from there.
And stream every day.
You take that versus playing in potentially a terrible Call of Duty
and getting tweets and people hating everything about you.
I am.
That's why I'm nervous.
Here's my maybe not so bold take. 75% he retires.
Wow.
75% he retires.
So you think you would say?
I think he's going to retire.
I think you're going to. Wow.
I think he's going to retire too.
I think he's gone through the ringer too much. And
what would keep him around?
If he wins champs.
Winning champs would keep him?
Top 3.
I feel like he pulls like a walking to the sunset type situation if he wins champs though.
Oh, do you think so?
Because they take home like $2 million and they're like, well, here we did it again.
Done regardless, almost.
Oh man.
I think unless he finds some sort of like real special bond with this team.
Nah, see, I don't.
I can see going two ways though. If he wins champs, walking into sunset, but don't you think that could like give him just a little bit more like?
Right, I can still be the best in the game.
Looking after Clayster, where he's 29 now. Crim, it's like, okay, so Scump still does have it. He can still win champs.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
No, I mean, I agree.
But I could see the like end on a high note, win champs. I did it.
Yeah, I could see it. That's what's tough is
that's
like
hard
most of the other players don't have the fallback that's no other players have fallback that Scump has. And so that's the problem.
My guess with him.
Is it weird that he says this for the team? Because, like, that would probably be after champs then. So I guess he'd be signing. He'd have to decide during rostermania after champs then. But, like, if you're Formal or Envoy or Dashy, wouldn't you like to know if Scump's coming back sooner than later?
Well, do you think Formal retires if Scump retires?
No way.
No chance. This dude loves it too much.
And Formal doesn't, like, still, like, I guess he does have a pretty big stream following.
Yeah, he does.
Still. So, like, he could have a fallback, but I think
he was really magnified when he joined OpTic, though. So it kind of depends what happens if I don't know.
I mean, they'll be sponsored with OpTic. Like Scump, I think will get like he'll be super involved with Call of Duty League.
Yeah,
if he retires, like no doubt in my mind, like there will be something always involving him with the Call of Duty League and using his face for everything somehow.
Yeah, I agree. What would happen? Here's a scenario. What if Scump retires and then Envoy and Formal don't want to team together, but they both want to be on OpTic?
Oh, that'd be weird.
What does Hex do?
I don't know what you do there.
What do you do? Because, I mean, at this point, Formal's probably better content, right? He's been funnier. He's funnier than Envoy, so therefore better content. He's
been there longer.
He'd probably stick with Formal.
Probably Formal.
I think he'd stick with Formal. I mean, Formal at this point said he's pretty like, I'm on OpTic forever.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
But would it ever happen though?
I don't think
Formal
so.
Having
Probably not.
I don't think so.
But that's the thing. That's what gets really, really tough. I don't know, man. It just puts the team into a weird spot now where you got to wait for it, and you're going to have the contract situations with him. And, man, there's going to be a lot of interesting decisions coming here with the fall. And Vanguard has a lot of pressure to be competitively good, and I am nervous.
And it hasn't been looking too good with the news.
No.
From Vanguard.
Yeah, that's what gets really, really scary. It needs to be a banger. So we'll see. But obviously, a lot more about that in the future as well. So what else you got for us? Anything else?
Not much for Challengers news. The next cup is on the 9th, July 9th and 10th.
Oh, yeah.
So Halo Infinite has partnered content for the release.
Yeah, that's actually dope. I'll be honest. Screw Halo, but that was dope.
Oh.
Sam, lead the way.
They're doing good. Yeah, so no, this is pretty cool. So what they're doing is with like NA and Europe teams, they're gonna be like looking to like get they're like looking to like bring content from those teams into the game like at launch. From like what I
how
understand.
do you even do that with a new game and not like new orgs? And I'm actually surprised how that, because do teams have to commit to having teams who currently have pro teams? Is that just kind of the case?
Yeah. So from like reading this article that was published, I think they're like it. There is a contract, but like they've designed like each team has designed their own content, which is pretty
like
cool.
in-game content that they can get, and it'll come out on day
launch.
One.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it would be like having the CDL have all their skins and stuff available at launch.
Yep.
But also be designed by the teams themselves, which was not the case. They were designed in-house at Activision for like the COD's design. So that is interesting. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they're giving like all like film access and stuff to these like partnered teams. So like at an event, those teams will be able to freely like film things on the stage. They'll get all the VOD from the event. So they're really trying to drive to like, they can make a like
Halo's trying to be an esport.
Creative. Yeah, exactly. Halo's trying to be an esport.
They're trying to make it one day. They're trying to get to that point.
You're the worst.
Well, like, honestly, I think there's going to be a big revive for Halo, because Halo hasn't hit like that like franchise level. It's still like
no. Well, I mean,
kind
it's
of
been dead for
back
six
to the
years
old
when Halo 5 come
MLG
out.
tournament days. So it's gonna be like MLG like. There's no like franchise
Esports
teams.
Engine's partnered with them, so that's pretty cool. So Esports Engine's running it.
I think Halo's going to go big. I think Halo's going to blow up.
Yeah, well, it can only blow up. The game will blow itself up.
You're so dumb. If Call of Duty just had better decision making,
implode, obviously.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
sorry,
what? I was just saying, if Call of Duty could just make better decisions on the back end, like where to stream, allowing these certain things.
One
like,
day.
Come on, like certain things is just so frustrating. But
it's just because they rush it every single year, and then they're backed up, and then every year we all know it just gets pushed to the side. Then sometime around like January or February, they're like, let's look towards what else can we do for competitive? Throw them a bone, you know. Just kind of how it goes. So I was just saying it's cool. Hopefully it can help push the competition for COD. Like, you know, we got to keep up with this, and hopefully COD feels a little bit of pressure to stay up to date on the esports stuff, you know, but that's kind of the question mark, you know? So it's going to get really, really interesting. So what else we got, Rex?
In other news, we're seeing like there was an interesting stat on Reddit. 48% of the league starters were not pros before Black Ops 4.
That's crazy, man.
And now we're kind of seeing next year we will likely see the official generational shift.
Yeah, quote unquote.
Next season. So like it's more than half the players are going to be pros, are going to be new. Black Ops 4 and up.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, shout out to who's that?
Oh, it's Bergy.
Jay Bergy for that stat, but I would never have thought that 48%. Like, wow,
23 of the 48
that's crazy.
are new from Black Ops 4. That's crazy.
So I guess like this makes me question too. Who do you think is or is going to be the Michael Jordan of COD?
Well, obviously,
is it
Scump.
like Simp or Scump? Is Simp the actual
Simp's
Michael
LeBron.
Jordan?
Well, yeah, no, I was gonna say Simp is LeBron, Scump is.
But once
Jordan.
the new generational shift happens,
Simp will still be there though.
I mean, Simp's really good. Like he is so good that like there's almost no competition about that. Whereas I feel like Scump back in the day, like he was popular in social media and like they would win, but it wasn't the same dominance that I think Simp has today.
During AWBO3 and IW, Scump was at that level of dominance. It was just, when he blew up on YouTube, sure, in BO2, he may not have been the best player all year, but like during those AWBO3 IW days, he was debatably the best player in the CWL.
So let's say 20 years down the line, you think we'll be looking back? Man, I guess we'll always be looking at Scump because he's like, one of the OGs. He was known as like the king and all that.
It is hard because Zuma had a good take on the flank. No free shoutouts. But like with Call of Duty, the like timeline of generations it's a very quick turnaround. So like like with the NBA, Jordan and LeBron were dominating for so long,
20 years.
But like with Call of Duty, we're gonna get talent, like this. So like looking back in 20 years, I think
have 3 Jordans.
I think we'll have a ton of people where it's like, okay, Scump in this era, Simp in this era, X or Y,
Salvation's Elite
in this era.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just gonna be different. Like, obviously, it's always good to compare with sports and stuff.
I don't know. Scump never really won in his era, though. Not until Infinite Warfare.
Well, I mean,
which was
champs,
like near the end.
AW, he won a ton of events, though.
They won a ton of events, and they won a ton of events in BO3.
I guess I'm just looking at COD champs.
Yeah,
but
which is like, at the end of the day, COD champs is just another event. But
yeah. So I don't know. I think it's really, really just cool stat. I just didn't realize it was that many. I thought it was maybe like 15 to 18 somewhere in there, but that's really, really cool. That's really, really cool. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what the future of COD holds for us. But what's up next, Rexy?
So apparently Sib had an awful, horrible tweet. I didn't see it. I don't know if maybe you want to talk on that.
It wasn't great. It was just kind of like a tweet where he talked about how changing lanes going 130 miles an hour is a vibe. I don't necessarily know. It could have been quoting something else potentially or something along those lines. It got deleted. Then the Reddit post got deleted like maybe 24 hours after it was posted. So I don't know. A little bit weird situation. Maybe it was nothing, but I just thought it was kind of weird. Well, he just always tweets such low key things. You just don't even know. They're so cryptic. But
it's kind of weird.
But yeah, so I was like, I just thought it was worth mentioning. And then one post I thought was really, really cool on Reddit that I wanted to bring up was the average follower counts post that someone posted. It was kind of like one of the popular posts on Reddit this week. I thought it was really, really cool. He did put a ton of work in. So shout out Advanced Wolverine for the really cool Reddit post. But he basically averaged out all the followers of every COD team and got the medians of all the teams and the medians of the whole league and everything else. So the average followers of a CDL team is 94,000 and 95,000. And then the average is 95,000. The median is 73.5. Then you take it out the extremes, obviously, with like OpTic and stuff. But I thought it was just really interesting to think of it in like Twitter followers and kind of like see that whole vibe there. I thought it was just really cool as a whole. But any thoughts on that? Like about the popularity of the sport or anything?
I would love to compare it. I haven't done like a ton of time into it.
The other esports?
Other esports.
It's got to be pretty good. Obviously, the problem is that, still today, like the guys like Apathy are more followed than Simp, And so it's like there's just a lot of kind of dormant Twitter followers for like the older generation of players that the new generation of players hasn't had to benefit off of yet. And so I think it's more reasonable to gauge off of the guys like RCDs or Simp or any of the FaZe guys or, Dallas guys, kind of like those guys, like the Shotzies of the world, to get a better idea of where the following count is for the CDL, But I don't know. I just thought it was a really, really cool post because he just put a lot of effort into getting them all listed there for the Reddit.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I kind of wonder where do you see people being converted into watching Call of Duty? Is it through Twitter vids or is it through
that's
random?
What's tough. I mean, that's the biggest problem and why it's just so mind blowing to me that the CDL doesn't address it more and like figure out, or the Activision or COD Treyarch doesn't have more avenues to garner new fans, because realistically they should come from league play. Yep. They should come from team content, from player content, from streams, from crossover events, from cross marketing with pubs YouTubers. Yep. Like the YouTubers who are actually playing multiplayer every day, how are they not consistently involved with the CDL? And like the guys like Exclusive Ace or Dismo or all the Carnage Clan guys or Noisy Butters. I know she's technically signed by Atlanta FaZe, but like there should be a ton of crossover content. Yeah. At least in my head, it would just be natural, and it's not. So those are things for me where it's like, hello, this is just obvious,
Yeah, it's kind of funny thinking about there is still like really big like pubs YouTubers. Like,
yeah,
I've like watched like pubs YouTube in forever because I've been so focused on just CDL YouTube. But that would be the avenue you take. Like, why not get like a sponsorship deal going or something like that with those players? And like, those are going to bring you right in because they're already playing the game. They just need to be crossed over into the competitive side.
That's what makes no sense, And so, man,
they just got to make people care more about competitive playlists than public. That's the difference between all these other competitive games, League of Legends, Overwatch. You play those games to play the competitive game mode.
Yeah.
You don't really play them to play like the quick plays. Whereas COD, it's different. Everyone is getting COD to play the pubs, the quick plays, and not the ranked, because they're not funneled into the ranked well enough. And with all like the GAs and like these different rules, unspoken rules, it's hard for people to really grasp it and get into it.
And again, too, it's like the actual rank system too. Like, we're not gonna get anywhere without a
established, real, good, solid, fun, interesting rank system that encourages grinding and watching tips videos and getting engaged in the community and taking challenges and watching pro players. Because again, at the end of the day, if you want to improve at COD, you're going to continue to watch pro players, to dive into content, tips videos, hopefully stumble across my channel, get involved with the podcast,
there you go.
Watch, Tactical Rab and The Flank and No Free Shoutouts and everywhere else. And, and get engulfed into the drama of the scene and the fun of the scene and have some fun with it. So I always get excited when I hear people say like, hey, found the podcast and this is my first time ever watching competitive COD or, found the channel 4 months ago and loving. I'm like, that's so sick,
Right.
And hopefully we can get more of that in the next few years.
They need to bring specialists back too, because I felt like that added
classic Rex take
go
right
off
there.
A tangent, but we do need specialists back because like only one person on your team can be that specialist. It like locks you into like this idea of like, this is what I do. Like, I'm the Crash or I'm the active camo guy or whatever. You're the only person on your team that can do that performs a certain function, right?
I didn't mind specialists.
Again, I didn't mind specialists, but if done right in the right games, it works. But like, you can't just throw specialists into Cold War,
No, you can't, because it's not made for that. But they need to make games in that direction again.
With uplink.
With uplink, obviously.
Every time we can throw uplink into the podcast.
I can't even tell you, just adding those would level up the competitive scene immensely. Like the numbers would double.
Yeah.
I promise, like, it'd be incredibly fun.
I love it. But I think that's all the news. If I'm reading this right, I think that's all the news we got this week. So, we're doing pretty good schedule wise. We can take our sweet time with these predictions today.
We're gonna have some like some
sweet time. But without further ado, I think we can get right into our predictions and talk about who's the best in the freaking game. So let's get it going.
Christmas time is here.
What? That That is the
It's predictions time,
It's
boys.
predictions time, boys.
That is the
Let's
absolute
get it.
last song I would have ever expected to hear.
Freaking sir.
Prediction time.
Christmas time.
Yeah, so it's prediction time, baby. Let's
It's been
go.
so long.
It's back. It feels like it's been months.
forever.
It's been forever.
And it's been 2 weeks. So we off the rip, we have a juicy fun match. Not really. It's London v Atlanta
This
FaZe.
is not juicy. At
There's
all.
no way you're hyping this one up.
No, I'll be
3-0
real with you.
FaZe.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you got to assume the worst, and the worst is that the FaZe is going to fry.
Yeah.
So
FaZe are
obviously-
monsters. They'll eat them alive.
yeah, I mean, is there any narrative for the London Royal Ravens?
There would have been narrative.
Afro decides to show how great everyone's hyped him up to be. Alex has a massive turnaround, and they
'Cause
pull
his
out a
name's
map
Zed.
win.
Oh,
That's best case scenario.
Wait, is that in for sure?
no,
No, he's not.
yeah. At this point, it seems like probably not, but yes, that's what's gets tough.
There would have been a storyline if, basically like having like Yemen and there's another map that
Yemen.
was rumored to be
Oh,
remastered.
I don't know, but I love this idea.
Anyways, that would have been the storyline. Is that they added
If you
another
got some
map,
new metas in,
Yeah.
yeah.
and it's like maybe FaZe try it and then they get smoked by London. But yeah, no, with how this is going and how the game is
Yeah.
right now, FaZe is winning 3-0.
And at this point, I'm pretty confident we would have heard something if Zed was in the starting lineup. So this is probably going to be Alex again.
Side
Which is
tangent.
tough.
Do you think Vanguard is going to be CTF or Control?
Wow, this was a big old side tangent. CTF.
You think CTF? I
Yeah.
do too. I'm actually happy it's going to be CTF. If it is.
Same. I agree. But yeah, Atlanta 3-0 is pretty fair. Obviously, we got our little screen here. We didn't even have time to pull up gameplay for that match. It was such a fast prediction. But yeah, I'll go ATL 3-0 as well, and that sends us into the Chicago Paris match.
Hey,
So
Chicago.
Chicago versus the Am Killers.
Yeah.
So who you got? Who you got?
This is going to be a close match,
Uh
I think.
oh.
I feel like Chicago kind of struggles with Paris a little bit.
I mean, it hasn't been easy for him. No.
Let me pull up some stats here, boys. Let me
Uh-oh.
pull up some stats.
All right, Rex, start talking while Sam's
Okay,
pulling up some stats.
so off my gut prediction here, I'm going Chicago's going to win it 3-1.
Okay.
I see Paris being able to take a map off. Chicago is kind of in the question mark state as they have been, it feels like, all season. So they're at this, like, they're strong, but they lose times maybe when they shouldn't. We're not against Paris, so 3-1.
So after some number crunching, they've never had trouble with Paris.
Breaking news.
For some reason, in my mind, I'm like, haven't they gone like 3-2 with Paris like twice? No. It's pretty much been either 3-1 or 3-0.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How many, have they played what, 3 times?
They played 4.
4?
1, 2.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to pull it up right now, but yeah.
3. Sorry. 3.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so this is going to be 3-1. It's not gonna-
Nice, man. Yeah.
I just know there's going to be a comment. Someone heard me say they struggle with Paris.
And
Like,
then they paused
No, they
it
haven't.
and they started commenting. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes.
I corrected myself. Okay, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, sir. No, they actually did not go with Paris. They were actually up 3-1 on Paris last time.
Push play the video and you'll see I corrected myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
Do you think
Bash is faded for that one.
Oh, yeah. Bash, are you okay?
That is a
We had-
classic comment.
We had quite a few comments last week asking if you were okay.
Listen, there are some days where my brain just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm
'Cause, I mean,
sorry.
last week, obviously, we did the whole ranking the top 5 players at each position,
And
which there was quite some controversy about, obviously.
Just
and
a little bit.
Yeah, Sam just forgot. He started ranking him in the wrong order, and then forgot a player.
It was
and then,
really bad.
And then
It
he
was
just had
pretty
a
bad.
really tragic final question. And then there's some comments asking about your mental health.
By the
So-
way, if you're wondering who the question maker is, it's probably me. So
So good to know you're doing well, man. I'm glad to hear.
Doing good.
I'm gonna go. I mean, what game mode do you think last time OpTic played Legion? Legion took a control off of them, which was obviously surprising because that was the raid control that Legion won. The time before that, they played Legion 1 and Express S&D, and those were in stage 2 and stage 4. So I mean, they haven't played much, obviously, but Legion has obviously showed some signs of life before the major, where they had beat the Thieves, they took a map off OpTic, then they beat the Surge, and then they end up losing the Surge in the major. But man,
yeah. No, I'd say
they've been looking good in S&D before this.
I'd say if they're gonna win 2 or 1 for sure, hard point. If not 2, probably hard point and S&D. I don't think they're gonna lose the control of them.
Yeah.
Personally,
I mean, this could be a 3-2 would be surprising.
it would be.
But it could be a 3-0.
I'm gonna say Paris loses wins the second S&D versus S&D.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna go OpTic 3-0 actually.
So you're saying OpTic have a pretty big rebound here, or like just like very.
Well, I don't know if beating Paris qualifies as a big rebound.
Not big rebound, but like
they're gonna start off on the right foot.
Yeah, like you have high like. I have OpTic is like stronger than Paris, obviously, but OpTic does seem like they have some sort of like weakness to them.
I do think I have more confidence.
Would be taken off.
I do think I have more confidence in OpTic than you both do.
Yeah.
At least heading into stage 5 for like at least like the sense of like a rebound.
Mm-hmm.
I do still have some confidence this team can make something happen here in stage 5.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I have confidence against the bottom 6 teams. I don't have that much confidence against the top 4 teams, and that's the thing.
That's true.
So that's kind of where the rubber hits the road for me. So with that said, we have another interesting match. I mean, with the new LAG squad versus the Rokkr, and potentially the new role change for the Rokkr.
Yeah.
This would be a good series to start off a role change against if you're going to try to get it going against LAG. So I can see that happening here. So what do you think about the Minnesota Rokkr v Guerillas here?
Well, here's the thing. I've always said LAG is that wall that teams have to get past to
at
then
least be
start
competitive.
Climbing. To be competitive. But I'm going strictly off of scrims here. LAG losing like that bad in scrims is never, I feel, like a good sign. Yeah, it's scaring me a lot. They made the one change and they put in mental, and we already know LAG is not going to champs at this point.
Right.
So I think Minnesota is gonna just tear through this one. 3. I'm gonna go 3-1 on that one. Yeah. Part of me wants to say 3-0, but I have a feeling LAG doesn't want to be embarrassed that bad. So,
man, yeah, that's interesting. Sam, what do you think?
Honestly, Rokkr have been pretty good versus the bottom 6 teams.
Yeah, they have.
You look at season 4.
They couldn't ever beat a good team.
Yeah. Like you look at season 4 during group play, they lost to OpTic and FaZe, and then during the major, they lost to OpTic and FaZe.
Yeah.
Stage 3, they lost to Mutineers and Ultra, and Empire. So I think I have Rokkr here.
I agree.
Elliot, I'm not going to take a whole lot into that. Like maybe I should take some of.
I feel like I have to
the
take at least
scrim.
I feel like I have to at least give it a little bit of credit, or take away credit. At least give it a little bit of weight. That if you're not taking at least half the maps off of your own academy team, to be fair, those guys are going to know you better than anybody. So if you're going to, maybe get upset on these weird maps, they would be that. But an 8-0, that's a little surprising.
Yeah.
At least my first thought is that it's going to take some time for this team to really find a groove. I mean, with Mental's debut and these types of things like that, it makes sense that it could take some time. So
I have an interesting take
I don't think it starts here, though.
I have an interesting take.
Okay.
I think Rokkr do try the Priestahh attach switch here.
Oh, so let's go. Maybe this does get interesting.
I'm going to say 3-2. Rokkr win. But I think it's going to be a kind of a weird series.
I could see that.
I mean,
that's a fair. I was going to go Rokkr 3-1, I think, with Rex as well. It's hard to say what LAG's best game mode is at this point and where they would struggle.
But LAG, at this point, they're just throwing sand into the wind. Like, they have nothing to play for. Nice. They just grabbed mental for who there's no reason to even do it. Just
the Hail Mary, bro.
There's no Hail Mary to make.
It's to know what they got going into next year with the contract
situation. Know what they got going into next year. Give the guy a shot. If he's great, it's like awesome. We don't have to worry about that. So like I said, they're just throwing sand to the wind, and maybe something will go a little bit
Hopefully
further,
Diamond falls out. Yeah.
I think their motivation is gone.
I still have PTSD from that podcast review about our take on LAG.
Yeah. That was quality. Oh man, what a shame. We didn't get surprised this week.
I know we didn't.
So I'm gonna go 3-1 as well there. We agree with you there. I mean, I think again, the Rocker, the S&D is the only potential question. But do I have confidence that LAG is going to win S&Ds right now? Not really. So that's why it gets tough. I can see this being a 3-0 though. That wouldn't be surprising at all either. So with that said, we head into our next match here, which is
New York.
A fun one. New York v LA Thieves. Well, this could maybe not be a fun one. We got the revamped New York now with Asum back. And thoughts on this one?
New York 3-1. I honestly, I feel like we haven't seen a whole lot of information about New York since the major.
No,
like
we haven't.
They don't even like tweeting about how good they are. No one's really talking about them.
It's been quiet.
Yeah, it's been quiet. So it's hard to actually put a pin on where we think they are still. But the last time we saw them, 3 weeks ago when Asum was back in?
Yeah, I mean the last time Asum played was against Toronto, right?
And they lost.
Yep.
But they still were looking like a really solid team. Then they put in Decimate. Obviously, they didn't place well.
I mean, could have been worse.
It could have been. It could have been worse.
They beat the Mutineers.
It could have been worse, but I think with Asum, we all know they probably could have gone farther. Anyways, LA Thieves sound like they're struggling just based off those clips. New York's going to win at 3-1.
Man, yeah. This could be a 3-0.
I was going to say this could be a 3-0.
Could be a 3-0. But where is New York at? That's the lingering question. People seem to be more down on New York now.
They do.
It's weird. Well, we got flamed for having New York ahead of Toronto, which I understand it's kind of a hot take. We got
it's
that.
It's kind of a hot take, but it wasn't that hot. But people were kind of like...
People were pissed.
Miffed about that, which is like New York has shown to be really, really resilient and really good.
When they've got everybody, when they've got all their ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Then they have something to fight for and play for when they know that they can compete, which again, we've already gone around this table before, but when they played Toronto, they knew that they weren't going to have Asum at the LAN.
The vibe killer.
It's a vibe killer. It's an absolute vibe killer. So it's like, who knows? But all right, so let's see what happens here. I think I'm going to go New York 3-0 and stick with that. Sam, what are your thoughts here?
I'm thinking 3-1.
Okay.
I really...
You want LA Thieves
want LA Thieves to be so good. I do, because I want my prediction on John to be top notch.
Yeah, of course.
But why? I guess I'm going to give this team some time. And New York as your first match is a hard one with your new team. It really is. It's an unfortunate first game. So yeah, I don't see much happening here. 3-1 is the best I'd give Thieves. 3-0.
Yeah.
I think 3-0 is more likely, but I can see like something happening where they just take a map off New York.
I feel like LA Thieves going to come with a little bit of fire in their belly. That's why I think the map will happen, but we'll see. Atlanta, though.
Yes.
What of a week they're going to have.
I know. Absolute bangers here. So our next match after that New York LAT match is the Atlanta FaZe v Paris Legion match. I mean,
wow, it's like the easiest week for Atlanta ever.
And Paris gets OpTic and FaZe. So that's really good stuff for Paris.
What's crazy to me about FaZe is you could see other teams kind of taking it easy, but FaZe, you never predict them to take it easy.
No.
Like they want to 3-0
They're trying to prove something this year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was really cool watching you and Arsty's video, and it's like they really are trying to cement the dynasty.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
They know that winning stage 5 and then winning champs could potentially go down as the most dominant season of all time. Yeah. And they want that real bad. And it's actually plausible. Like it's plausible that it could happen. Maybe more than plausible it could happen at this point. So
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's hard to pick them to even lose maps at this point. I mean,
Truly.
Could Paris take a map off them? For sure. Yeah. For sure. Could they? Yeah, definitely. But it's like, how do you predict that? I don't want to predict it. I'm going to go FaZe 3-0.
No.
And are you following suit, boys?
I am 3-0. Yeah. I wrote it down here. I'm like, no, I actually do. Yep. Yeah, 3-0.
Yeah.
I forget to talk
sense.
Sometimes.
I mean, again, it's tough for Paris because they're playing Chicago and Atlanta this week. I'm really not that down on Paris. I actually think they could be pretty competitive. And again, we saw those flashes of them being solid, but then Seattle caught fire at the LAN, beat them in the first round. We didn't get to see them again. There's a world where I think Paris could come out and be at least very competitive in their group stage matches, but playing Chicago and Atlanta off the start is no easy go at it. So
I will say,
it's tough.
If you are Paris, though, like there isn't, you lose 3-0 2 times here. That's almost expected.
Right. You got nothing to lose.
No one's like down bad.
If that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what gets tough for sure. So I guess we're going to have to see. I mean, I'm hoping that Paris can show us something that we haven't seen yet, but we'll see. All right. Seattle and Florida, another
juicy matchup.
This gets intriguing because it kind of depends what you think about Seattle and are we seeing some improvement here? Or, can Florida bounce back after that tough loss to New York in the losers
Well, they're
bracket?
playing online again for this, right?
They are back online.
Florida's
that does matter. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would expect Florida to win this.
I think so. And I'm trying to gauge how much do I think Seattle wants to win? Because they have no chance of champs. They're out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sort of.
Pretty much out.
Yeah. It would be something else. That would be crazy.
Is there enough fire in them? Like, of course they want to win, but is there enough in them?
I mean, the motivation to win stage 5, I think it's fine.
I mean, maybe. I think they just have fire. They just want to go to LAN and then they'll play LAN their hearts out. But the rest of the time, I feel like they're going to just be like,
they'll bring the ingredients to make the fire, but will they actually make the fire?
Right.
They'll bring the wood.
They'll bring the wood. They'll have the lighter fluid, but will they actually get the flame to get up there? It's don't know. I mean, I hope they do. It'd be fun to see. And I just have a lot of confidence in Florida bouncing back. That New York loss was really, really, really surprising. I mean, probably one of the most surprising matches of the whole year. Classic Florida. But I really do think they're going to bounce back and be really competitive this stage again here. So I'm going to go Florida. 3-2 is not crazy. I could see it 3-2 happening. But
what does Seattle bring is what gives you the 3-2 or not.
And Seattle's been, they've been good in controls. They finally figured out how to play controls or how not to play raid just by veto, just that classic auto veto right there. And then giving themselves a chance. But I'm going to go Florida 3-1. But a 3-2 wouldn't be crazy. Sam?
What's interesting, the last time they've played Mutineers was stage 2.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been that long. Wow. That's actually crazy.
And they've played Mutineers 3 times. Surge won twice.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago where Mutineers were struggling to figure it out.
The XM4 days.
XM4 days.
Back in the olden days.
Man.
But All right. So what are you going with, Sam?
I kind of want to do a little crazy.
Oh no,
dude! You always
Sam.
pick Seattle. Doesn't Sam always pick Seattle?
I don't know.
I do like Seattle.
LAG, Seattle, London. Those are kind of just the go-to upset teams for Sam.
Yeah. I'm feeling 3-2 Seattle.
Oh
here.
my,
dude! That is classic Sam.
That is classic Sam right there.
Here's a scenario. Seattle want to win this. They want to win the stage.
I'll do a hat bet for a Florida 3-1 or 3-0. If Florida wins 3-2, you still win the bet.
Okay.
All right. Deal. Perfect.
Deal.
I love it.
Yeah. I haven't won
Enjoy the hat
in a
next
while.
week.
I know. I pee in pools.
Yes. I mean, what's the narrative there? I mean, what's the narrative there?
is
spin the wheel for us here.
Yeah.
The rebound is real.
This is the rebound. This is the rally cry. This is we want to prove that we can do it.
Florida isn't the real deal.
It would have to take, I think Neptune would have to pump the brakes. If this were to happen.
Did you see that 11 spree against LA Thieves? That was pretty nice.
I know,
That was pretty nice.
Yeah. See, the thing is like, I believe Neptune will not pump the brakes, so it's kind of going against what I think. And like,
but this is about Octane and Gunless slamming their foot onto the accelerator, right?
It is.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it would take a lot. I think it would take Mutineers to just completely crumble because I think Mutineers are figuring it out more and more.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, this would take Seattle's Gunless and Octane and Priestahh Relay too to like really go off. Which is possible. It is possible. It's not like a crazy scenario. It's a very unlikely scenario.
Yeah. Man, I just think that we're about to hit that point for Neptune where it's go time. We're here, you know, like the arrival.
It's go time.
We saw the flashes of it. That was in the New York series. In that first map on Check. Oh, I think it's playing right now. The map on Checkmate. I think that's one. Maybe not. We're the one where Neptune was dominating, but we're getting close, and it just comes down to the S&Ds and what Neptune can do in the controls and S&Ds, and I'm excited to see it, man. I really am. I think Florida's gonna win it. 3-1 makes a lot of sense, and so we'll see. But LAG Dallas, we got some weird matches.
The grudge match.
Oh,
Vivid v LAG.
The absolute grudge match. I don't know, man. This is a weird weekend where it's like, I feel like these matches make a lot of sense. I mean, Dallas should win this.
Oh,
if I'm going Dallas 3-0.
Any faith in Dallas. Yeah, I think Dallas is the real deal.
Dallas found a form, I think, at the major that I think they have their confidence back a little bit.
I did want to talk about Dallas a little bit because I did power rank, or did we do power rankings last week or 2 weeks ago? I can't remember. I think it was last week. I put Dallas at 4, and I didn't really feel like I wasn't sold that they're the real deal. And in my tier rankings video, I talked about how Illy and Vivid, I wanted to see more from Dallas and Crim before I moved them higher. But going back and watching more of the grand finals again and seeing some of their matches from this weekend, I mean, wow, they played some good COD, man. Especially S&D was really, really, really good. And seeing Shotzi play like that is scary.
Yeah.
Well, and Vivid too. It was
great.
Vivid found his place. World?
I would have never expected that. I know Vivid
that quickly.
Yeah, I know Vivid had a hard time. He's trying to fit into the system where he was trying to be, Huke, and he was trying to do what Empire would need him to do. So I'm sure that was really hard for him to adjust. But the major weekend, he found it, and so. Obviously, there was a few maps where he struggled, but man, all of them. I think Illy was still kind of doing his thing, his
his huge,
nothing crazy, but wow,
he still made some nice clutches in S&Ds though.
I am very excited to watch Dallas because I hope this is like the real thing, and it wasn't just like a caught fire weekend for them.
Think if Atlanta didn't exist, how insanely competitive Stage 5 would feel. Because like if the bar wasn't beat Atlanta FaZe, like any team could win. Like literally any, like there could be like 8 teams that have a chance, like if you just get hot one weekend and make a run, which would be insane. So I don't know, man. I am very excited. I think Dallas is going to win 3-0 as well. I really do think they're the real deal. So we're going to have to see, Sam, where do you at with it?
I know. This is going to be 3-0
That embarrassed with it, huh?
That's like, wait, crap. No, Dallas 34. No. Oh my gosh, guys.
Dallas 30 straight.
Why are they still playing against each other?
Crim is sleeping and they're winning.
They're gonna win 34
my goodness. Yeah, so I don't know. I really am excited for Dallas. So our next match here is London v LA Thieves. And this is okay. Where are you at, LA Thieves? This is kind of the question mark here and the thoughts on this roster. So what are your thoughts?
Thieves
honestly
need to win this match. I was gonna say Thieves need to win this game.
This is like, it feels like comes off like a must win.
They need to win this game because if they're gonna be struggling with this roster and they may not win against the top teams in their group, they need to beat the bottom teams.
Right, because I mean, that's Paris and London, and then they've got FaZe, OpTic, and Subliners in their group. So, you're getting one of those big matchups out of the way with the Subliners this week. But then in the coming weeks, you're going to have to play against OpTic Chicago and FaZe still. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to have any chance at a winner's start, you have to win this.
And I believe Thieves can do it. I do. I think this is going to be a 3-2 Thieves.
That's exactly what I have, Sam.
Really?
3-2 Thieves.
Look at us.
I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people are thinking. LA Thieves, I think, are struggling a little bit. London, as we know, are struggling. I think it'll be a close matchup. It's going to be 3-2.
Do you guys have any positive thoughts about this current London roster? Afro and Alex on this team.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of the positive thoughts about the flashes we've seen from Afro at points. mean, he's popped some 3 pieces where you're like, holy crap, that's insane. Like, he had some stretches. I think he got streaks on like an Apocalypse once where I'm like, yo, like, this is some legit plays here, and it takes some legit talent to make. And so those are the flashes where like I get excited, where we could potentially see like a real star in the making with Afro.
But then you have Alex not performing.
I know, and Alex had really been struggling, you know, just on to stay consistent map to map, and so
which like not even like trying to like bag on Alex, because I mean he
for whatever happened, I mean he just didn't play for so long. No. It's like, well, how do you? It's like, that's just tough.
It's a very tough situation for Alex, and especially coming in later where it's like champs time.
And all the other teams are solidified. They have these strats. They have their chemistry down.
Yeah.
It just puts you into a tough situation. So I actually think LAT is going to win this 3-1.
Okay.
Again, this is more just we have so little information about both of these teams. Any of us could be right here.
Yeah.
But I do have a little bit more confidence in the LAT team in the respawns, especially. And so finishing them off in a hard point in map 4 feels pretty reasonable, at least in my head. So that's what I'm going to go there. So we got Minnesota and Toronto up next. And again, here's another checkpoint for Minnesota to climb the ladders and find themselves in a spot where they can be contenders again.
The
Ultra, man, the first match of the week, the only match of the weekend for the Ultra this weekend. So thoughts on this one?
I feel like Minnesota are finding their balance as a team again. I do think we're going to see a little bit of improvement, but it's not going to be enough improvement in time to actually make a dent into Ultra. So I think Ultra is going to win at 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen an upward trajectory of the Rokkr for the past few weeks. At least, like, they beat the Subliners, obviously, at the major. They took a map off FaZe in the last match of the stage where they won a Garrison control against them. And you're like, oh, wow. You know, that was a really close series where they almost won the Garrison hardpoint, and they took them onto a raid, like to the final 2 hills where Standy would have got streaks. They could have won it. They beat LA Thieves. They beat the Surge. They beat the Legion. So like there's some positivity here.
There is.
People just kind of just blow them off because they lost FaZe 3-0 than OpTic, which, I mean, you know, They took a map off OpTic still, and it was an S&D, which is a good sign for the Rokkr in that sense, finally win some more search and destroys against good teams. But I think the Rokkr can be competitive, but again, this is a situation where Toronto's just really, really good at Call of Duty, man. Yeah. And my natural instinct is to say, oh yeah, you know, these Attach and, you know, a major maniac and these guys that we've known for a long time can win a series like this, but wow.
I know.
Ultra's good.
It's going to have to take, if they do this switch, it's going to take like Priestahh and Sandy being this ultimate sub duo, Attach holding the zone on the AR. But
throwing some new things at Toronto with the new roles.
But again, like even as I say that, I'm not 100% confident they're going to do that switch. So we're going to see probably a pretty similar Rokkr team that we have been seeing, which in that case, Ultra's going to win. I'm going to say 3-1 here.
Yeah, I was going between 3-1 and 3-0, going back and forth kind of in my head. I'm going to give a map to Rokkr, but I don't feel good about it. This could easily be a 3-0. Rex, what do you have?
I have Toronto 3-0.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Toronto's going to just smoke them.
That's fair. It's very possible. I mean, did you guys happen to watch the behind the scenes video that Toronto put out? It was really good. They put like a Visions type documentary about Stage 4, and really worth no free shout outs, but definitely worth the watch. It was really, really good. Just kind of their thoughts, and all of the players gave really good like interviews, like talking about their thoughts in the matches and their thought process throughout the matches. And I was really impressed with that. I thought it was a really cool watch. So go check it out. But yeah, I think Toronto's going to be in a pretty good spot there. They're going to win that match for sure, but it just kind of depends what the maps end up being. So now this is by far the best match of the whole weekend. It's not even close.
It's going to be so good.
And again, this is New York versus the freaking OpTic Chicago squad, baby. And again, now this is really about where is New York at? Obviously, they played LA Thieves earlier this weekend. We had them all winning. And Chicago's coming off the Paris win. We all had Chicago winning. They meet here. Oh, baby, fire away. Where are you at, man?
You know, there was this pretty cool tweet by this account that kind of asked about, you know, who do you think is going to be the second place team in Group A?
Oh, yeah, that account?
Yeah, and I thought it was a pretty interesting tweet and very, very thought provoking.
Yeah,
and
I fell asleep while reading it.
And this match might determine it.
It will.
So because of that,
oh no,
OpTic Chicago 3-2.
There's just a vendetta pick.
Wow.
I don't even care about that. I'm gonna prove a point.
Here's the thing. I don't even think that's totally unreal. I think we don't really quite know where New York's at anymore. Chicago seems to maybe be on this upswing. And anyways, I'll go with my prediction. New York 3-1. I think New York is still going to have the gas, still going to have the fire, and then we're going to bring it to Chicago. If it got to a game 5, I'm going to be sweating bullets. Because for some reason, I feel like Chicago might be able to close out a game 5. So I'm hoping it doesn't get to that point. So New York 3-1.
What map? Where did you see OpTic winning? Which map?
I could see them winning a
Where's my
control, probably.
Yeah, that's fair. Probably it depends on when they play.
I don't mind the S&D pick too either. Obviously in stage 4.
Well, I mean, again, New York, obviously we haven't seen it, but they're 1-3 in their last matches. Their last 4 matches, obviously, again, only one of them is with ASIM. So it's like, how much does that really matter?
Exactly.
And then their last loss was to Toronto, which is a fair loss to have. I mean, obviously it was a 3-0, but it does feel like people are unusually low on the Subliners, and it does make me want to pick New York. I'm going to hedge the bets there. I'm going to go New York 3-2. Would I be surprised if New York wins 3-1? No. But, I'm still very confident in this New York team with ASIM now back that they can clutch up in S&Ds. And the hard points, you got to favor New York again, where they were on, 11, 12 hard point win streak? It was insane before ASIM, before that Toronto series.
Yeah.
And so, people forget real quick how good New York was previously, and so we'll see. I really do think the New York's gonna bounce back and really put on a pretty good performance here.
Yeah, no, I think if Chicago's gonna win, it's gonna be the 2 S&Ds in control. I kind of see New York winning those
both hard points.
Well, both hard points, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's really possible. Again, I feel like we saw some pretty nice improvement from OpTic in hard point, at least at the major. Some pretty nice signs of well, especially Scump and some of the slang that he showed at the major.
Yeah,
obviously they took a checkmate off Empire in their rematch, but they lost 3-1, and then they beat so then they split the hard points with the Surge. They won the checkmate, lost the Apocalypse. So it gets interesting. They won both hard points against the Rocker, but that's expected. So there's a lot of question marks there with the OpTic team still, and it's hard to imagine that they're gonna all get answered right here off the rip. So there it is, man. That's the whole weekend. Just a real quick little glimpse there for you YouTube folks at the whole weekend. Not too many differences there from all of us. Did me and Rex agree the whole time?
You did.
Oh, my word. I
Not
hate
totally agree. We have some different
map count differences. I hate that. Yeah, that's tough. But all right, well, shout out to Sam for swimming the other direction there. Hopefully the bear doesn't catch you as you're the trout running upstream. But with that said, I think we can get into our intelligent or irrelevant debate. So let's get into it, baby. Let's go.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
All righty, let's get it, baby. Intelligent or irrelevant? Sammy, what do we got?
Here we go. So, redemption time.
It's redemption time.
Over, under. 6.5 players currently starting will not be on a starting roster next year.
Ooh. 6.5.
Over, under.
Man, that's savage. Someone got cut in half. Man,
Big Wake.
What are they doing to him? Oh yeah, Big Wake. Now it's like medium wake.
Medium wake.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. So, I mean, that would be like a lot of the LAG guys, and you got like the bottom 4 teams. Some of the Paris guys, some of the London guys.
Seattle,
Seattle.
Classic, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Oh wow.
Alex.
Yeah.
London.
Man, Rex, what's your initial instinct? That's a good line. That's a good line.
It is. I think over.
I would say over is probably the safer bet. I thought you were going to go because I didn't know what the question was, but I knew that there was a debate between 7.5 and 6.5.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what the number, what was actually the question.
I mean, are we counting, expansion teams in this? Probably not.
Well,
right?
that could also include that, which that would help.
Include it.
That would help the under.
Yeah. I was more thinking like of who's starting right now, they will not be starting next year.
Yeah. Which could include expansion teams.
It could. Yes.
Yeah. So that does matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go over. I think the people are going to say over, and I think they'll be intelligent, which will be unfortunate.
Okay. So which one should I vote for, you think?
The under.
Under? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll vote under. Okay. 70% over.
Okay. All right. Dang. So you should have gotten that 7.5 line.
Yeah, I should have.
I want to hear what the people have to say, though.
So only one tweet today.
Oh.
Oh gosh, I always screw the guy's name up every time. I think it's Biko Hodito. I think, dude, I'm sorry. I know you've explained it to me so many times.
It before, yeah,
like 3 times.
But
I know.
Okay, what do you have to say?
If there's expansion teams, then there will be a couple squad wipes with the most known players making it to the newer org. If there isn't, then it's going to be way over, with some retiring and others going to challengers. I think that's intelligent.
That's fair.
P.S. Streaming plus Warzone is a viable option for many of them. So,
yeah. I mean, that's also fair. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
So yeah, there was 97 votes, just like so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
It's got to be intelligent. I know we say it every single week.
We're going to get them to not be intelligent. We're have a horrible streak here of the people being way too smart. It's tough.
But I just thought that was kind of interesting because it's like, will we see a couple squad wipes and just nuked?
Well, I mean, there's going to be some fun combos here after champs, like since we'll know who didn't qualify. Well, we already kind of know.
Yeah.
But once we get that finalized, the bye weeks or whatever we have heading into champs, there's going to be some fun combos about the potential rostermania previews.
What's also interesting too is no free shoutouts. Zero on the flank said he is very confident he's starting next year.
Oh, he did. I actually missed that.
He just said with his connections and kind of who he knows, he's pretty confident himself.
Well, I mean, Zero. I mean, pros are pretty high on Zero. I think a lot of guys like him. I think he's a pretty solid player too, and I think he got really screwed by London.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, that's tough. Well, overall, I was a pretty solid, intelligent, and relevant there. All right, I like it, Sammy.
Fun.
So last question of the day. This is our shortest podcast in months.
It's been a while.
What are you guys watching this week?
It's been a while.
Rex, what do you got?
I watched that 1994 thriller movie that just came out on Netflix. Fear Street, I think is what it's called.
Oh, really? How was it?
Okay.
It was pretty good. It's pretty good. If you like that genre, I think you'll like it a lot.
Definitely. That's good.
I'm going to be watching Tomorrow War because I saw Crim hyped it up pretty heavily.
Hyped it up.
He did.
Did it get good reviews? I haven't even looked at it.
I don't know, but he loved it. So I really do enjoy those types of movies. So I'm like, I like it.
Yeah. Well, last time you experimented with a movie on Amazon, it didn't go well.
It was super unfortunate. So we'll just go off there.
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Yeah, but what am I watching this week? Oh, I'm watching.
I liked Army of the Dead.
Did you really?
What?
I thought it was fun.
I hadn't even seen it, and that's a horrible take.
Oh, dude.
I thought it was fun. But I wasn't expecting this crazy thing. It was just fun.
That's comedy.
Side tangent. I would have agreed if it didn't take itself so seriously. It took itself too seriously.
In the advertisements, leading in?
And
I didn't get the idea it took itself too seriously.
Really? I think it took itself really seriously, and it could have been really good if it was like a kind of a jokey film, but it wasn't. That is my problem with it. I think it was great cinematics.
So you wanted it to be more like Shaun of the Dead, type vibes?
Yes, but I feel like there was so much lead up, and the ending didn't matter.
There's going to be a second one. Based off the ending, it looks like there's going to be a second one.
I know. It's just,
yikes.
I was disappointed.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Dang, what am I watching this week? Oh, well, obviously Loki, per usual. And then
Loki's great.
Obviously Call of Duty. I mean, duh, obviously. And then Conor McGregor fights this weekend.
Right.
Let's go. And then the United States plays in the Gold Cup on Sunday, so that'll be fun. But yeah, kind of that stuff. What else is coming out this weekend? Black Widow's coming out this week.
Is it really? I missed that. Okay.
Yep. So more Marvel stuff. Just what we need. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, guys. So that's the podcast this week. This is the shortest pod of the century.
It is.
We're under the hour and a half mark. We might be under 20. It's like pushing 120.
That's wild.
That's crazy, man. So a short one this week, boys, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, drop all your comments down below. We didn't have like a segment like 2 this week, or segment 2, like a segment 1 this week, so that's kind of why. But drop all your comments down below. We want to hear what you guys have to say and thoughts on the whole weekend and everything else. We'd love to see it. But as always, I'm Josh. Salvation Elite to my right is Bash Bo3, and to our right, per usual, is Rex, ShadyNero, and guys, we will see you next time. We out.